What is a federal tax lien? In this video, I'm going to explain exactly what a federal tax lien and how you can make money with this. There are so many little things in here. Again, I think, in my opinion, it's how you frame it is how you win with it, okay? I'm going to show you how to frame this to win with this. In this video, I'm going to cover all of that. Now, let me tell you something. Stick around to the very end. I'll show you how to take what you've learned in here and catapult it to the moon. In the meantime, I know, there's somebody out there that should be listening to this video, and you're thinking about that person right now. Right now, you're thinking, okay, hit that share button, copy that link, pause this, go to there, or you don't even need to pause it. I guess you can just keep me in the background, send it, text it over to them and say, you got to watch this video, and you'll be off to the races, okay? Now, let's talk about it. What is a federal tax lien? They're not good. This isn't something you brag about at the Christmas party. This means you owe the federal government some money. It could be IRS. It could be you've done business with the federal government and you didn't pay. It could be maybe you were living overseas and you didn't file a bank account correctly. There could be a number of different reasons that you have a federal tax lien. Not as many as there are for state, believe it or not. The states have a lot more that they're going after than the feds. But typically a federal tax lien, in 99% of the cases out there, is going to be, you guessed it, an IRS, income tax lien on the property. So the feds are going, you owe us money, we can't get a hold of you, we want our money. That's how that works, okay? Now, there are several things. If you get a federal lien against you, it's not the end of the world, it's not a big deal. Two things. First of all, you immediately need to find out what this is all about. Do not hesitate. Do not talk about it. It's not a big deal. It really is not a big deal. If you understood all the things that happened with people like Elon Musk, don't get anybody get triggered, Trump, or Grant Cardone, or any of these people out there that are running empires, myself included, okay? Probably about every 6 months, something rolls along and we're going, what's this? Nope, I don't own that anymore. That's some, like this just recently happened. I had sold the property 3 years before and the state came back because they said they owed some money and the feds tried to piggyback on it. It was literally, a couple letters, couple emails, this and that. They realized the situation goes, but hiding does not solve the problem. Okay, the more business you do, the more open for exposure that you are, which gets into asset protection, which we'll cover on other videos out there when you're looking at this. Now, so those are that. You got to find somebody that understands federal tax liens. Don't try to deal with this on your own. It's not worth it. There are people that specialize in these knuckle brains at the federal level. I mean, they're just pure bureaucracy, and some of this stuff is computer generated, and they just don't know, okay? So you've got to get somebody that knows how to cut through all that bureaucratic BS and get to the source and say, hey, show us that we owe this money or whatever that scenario is. That's the first thing. Okay, but the next thing you got to look at is this, okay? Once you do that, figure out how to get out of that situation as quickly as possible. If you address it quickly, it probably won't turn into something on your credit bureau. Probably, okay? But keep your eyeballs on your credit bureau, okay? You can pull a credit bureau on yourself once a year, which is called a soft pull, that doesn't affect your credit. But keep your eyes on that. There's all these services that you can pay for that alert you on anything on your credit, and you want to make sure that happens. Credit Karma, all these different services out there. If it is and does get on your credit bureau, you're going to need to hire somebody to get rid of that. There's Blue Water Credit. They're out of Sacramento. There's some other people out there. I'll put some links down below for that. But there's some great people out there that help legitimately take things that you don't owe money to keep that score up there if that's important to you. And I think it is. Okay, so there's that. The other side of it, though, that I want to go in the second half of this is whenever you see a federal tax lien against a property or an individual and smells opportunity, it's probably indicative of other problems that are coming up on that. What I mean by that is if there's something like this going on and they're battling it back and forth, there could be other problems going on. So you might be able to insert yourself to solve that problem. For instance, I talked about this in other videos, but this is such a great scenario. I found a property that had an IRS lien on it, but it also had a state tax lien on the property, and it was a small one for only $12,000. And what else did it have on it? They hadn't paid property taxes in a while. So there's like 3 different scenarios going on here. So I'm going like this, okay, something's happening. Well, sure enough, I was able to get a hold of the people that own the property. He had moved out. They weren't talking. They're in the middle of what we call a heated divorce. So all of these things were falling by the wayside. I'm like, look, you guys, I don't want to get in the middle of that, but it looks like you're selling this property. I can help you out with that scenario. What if, and I laid out a scenario to them, they were able to, a little back and forth on it, but I didn't have to deal with her. I didn't have to deal with him. I dealt with the attorneys. They were very reasonable in this situation, and they won in the situation. We got the property literally at 60% of value because they just wanted out. They just want it out, and then everybody says, well, why didn't they do this? Why didn't they do that? I don't know. Why didn't their marriage work? I mean, there's a lot of different reasons. The thing going, I don't ask the why, I just provide the solution. So you've got to look at these things as saying, okay, there's a federal tax lien, there's a state tax lien, there's an IRS lien. There could be other things on there, and this could be an opportunity for me to solve a situation. Key, whenever these scenarios are on there, you've got to look at what's on this property. You have to do the research deep enough that you see every lien and encumbrance on that property. I don't care how small or big. It could be a mechanic's lien from the yard guy, Uncle Bill, or and the IRS. All of those things are going to stay with the property. Okay, this is not a tax deed sale. I'm going in to negotiate this. Say, hey, I will pay all of those if I get a favorable price on the property. So you've got to understand that those things stay with it. They go away once they're paid. At this point, I'm not going to argue whether they're owed or not. I'm just going to pay them so that I can start the process of clearing title, which means I prove that they've been paid, and now I uncloud the title on there so I can go ahead and actively sell this property. Now, where do you find those properties? I'm going to tell you this. I don't actively look for these properties. They just come up. And it's kind of a victim of circumstance of you're in that arena, so people go, hey, I know somebody that has this property. Or while you're looking at some tax liens and tax deed properties, you'll see something come up, okay? When you're out there looking at properties and you're evaluating properties and somebody asks you who you are, you say, I'm a real estate investor and I'm looking at this property. You would be surprised at how many people go, everybody wants to be a real estate investor. Everybody, you're a real estate investor. Hey, you should talk to this guy down the street. It's amazing how many times that goes on. Okay, if you're at a Christmas party or a gathering, a barbecue, what are you doing? I'm a real estate investor. People will talk to you. If you don't want anybody to talk to, you tell them, you're a CPA or something. Tell them you're some boring industry. But that's how you network. I was with one of my students last night who I've seen go from literally, almost on the verge of bankruptcy. Now he's doing millions of dollars in deals. And I said, Jeff, if you had to equate your success just to one thing, what would you point that out to be? Networking. I mean, we're sitting here having dinner, and I'm going to tell you about some deals that we're having right now, and I'm hoping you're going to be interested in participating in them. That's how I'm doing, $3 million deal over here, $2 million. It's networking. I met this guy who owned this thing. We're doing he says a 24 unit condominium. And the guy that owns a mortgage company is lending us the money to do the deal as long as he gets exclusive rights to finance the new home buyer. It's networking. Okay, so the most important thing you can do with anything we're talking about is get yourself out there. I've got other videos on this. I hope you watch those because I think this is a crucial point in tax liens, tax deeds, or anything when it comes to real estate. You have to network with people. You have to be comfortable with saying, hi, I'm Saen Higgins. I do this. How can I help solve a situation here? And once you learn how to solve situations, that's when the big money starts rolling in. It's just undeniable. Okay, listen, there's a lot going on here, and what's really cool about this is I got a gift for you. Okay, this is a free mini course on everything I'm talking about in these videos. Okay, all you got to do is click on the link down below, higginsmethod.com. Send that to your friends. I'll give them the free course also, and that'll help you get started and get to your first property in the next 30 to 60 days. This is Saen Higgins saying God bless and good luck. We'll see you out there.